Here
we go.
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds.
What up, family? It's your boy Amadou back with another review, and this time I am reviewing Joker, the first standalone film for the iconic supervillain, and this version is Arthur Fleck, a mentally ill wannabe stand-up comedian who is beaten down so much by his illness and by society that he reaches a breaking point that we get to see as he follows through with his transformation to becoming the clown prince of crime. This has been said plenty of times, but it's worth saying again. This is not your typical comic book movie. Please don't bring your kids. Unless you're like me and when you were 8 you saw Pulp Fiction, then go ahead, do what you need to do. Instead, director Todd Phillips takes this comic book IP and turns it into a very deep character study of Arthur Fleck turning into the Joker, as well as a study of society as a whole. This is by far the most faithful representation of how broken a city Gotham really is. And not like how they do in the TV series. It's broken there, but it's a heightened version of it. No, this is real life. Gotham is about to explode. The tension between the elites and not so elite, a garbage strike, heat, the rich talking about the poor, calling them clowns. It lays this theme on pretty thick. As you go further into movie, it just gets darker.
And darker, and blacker, and then more darker.
Phillips takes this opportunity to go into how society treats those who are lesser, especially those with mental illness. Now, Fleck, wanting to be a comedian, has a joke journal, and in it he writes, "The worst part about having a mental illness is people expect you to behave as if you don't." Whether it's budget cuts or understaffing of mental health services, to people just wired to ignore those who clearly have difficulties, we have become comfortable with just pushing people to the side who are going through these types of battles. You ever been in an uncomfortable, socially awkward situation and every second feels like an hour? That's how Todd Phillips pulls you into this movie and never lets you go. Joker is paced purposefully, uncomfortably, time-grudgingly slow, so you sit and stew and marinate in the discomfort and agony of one hard scene to watch after another, of all the just horribly skin-crawling problems and issues that Fleck has to deal with on a daily basis. It's really miserable, but you cannot look away. While some might call this a dangerous glorification of violently reacting to be broken down, what this movie really does is horrifyingly beautiful. It's a mirror to society. Doesn't tell you what's right or wrong, just shows you the truth. It's proven what comic book lovers have known all along. You take away the superpowers, you take away the good versus evil, and they always triumph. You take away all the fantastic elements, and what you're left with, harsh realities of humanity. This is what comic books have always done. If you took away the title and character names and changed Gotham City to New York City, what you're left with is an untheme park-like Scorsesean examination of what our darkest impulses can create. Joker is cinematically breathtaking, but it isn't perfect. That really sluggish pace does highlight some story flaws that are really hard to believe. Like how he got into the relationship with Zazie Beetz' character Sophie, how he was able to encounter a very familiar character at a mansion, and how he ultimately had his appearance on the late night talk show of Robert De Niro's character, Murray Franklin. Now I'm gonna break all of this down a little later in the spoiler section because I can't not talk about spoilers for this film. But most of these flaws are resolved, even though it takes a lot longer to do so because of the slower pace. But they're resolved because of one thing. Joaquin Phoenix's better be fourth Oscar nomination for this inspired performance. Phoenix is in almost every second of this film, and he is the reason you can't keep your eyes off of it. His performance is as emotionally emaciating as his physical frame and will be imprinted in your brain for a long time. He brings us into the depth of sadness and solitude with every physical gesture and facial expression, and you just want to give this man a hug. And
Jesus, somebody get that kid a sandwich.
a lot of reviews have said that we get to dive deep into Arthur Fleck's descent into madness, and I don't believe that. From the first frame where he forces that smile, you can see in his eyes, he's already there. What we experience is his ascent to the acceptance of anarchy that is the Joker. He is the catalyst that delivers every important message of this film, because by the time he fully embraces the Joker character, we empathize with everything Arthur has gone through, but we don't root for the inherently evil crap he does. We just sit there and go,
oh damn!
And leave the theater hoping and praying we are morally right within our soul. What caps off this performance is that Phoenix creates a second character that shadows every obstacle Arthur faces and really emphasizes the sadness every time it appears. It's that uncontrollable laughter that Arthur suffers from. You okay, bro? Oh, that. What does he do? That hurts. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. You sure? Nah. Can I continue now? Yeah, I'm gonna go. Good. I'm about to do spoilers. Go get all that shit off your face. Yeah, it's good. I'm alright. Go on without me. Go on without me. We get all this stuff off. Anyway, now I gotta talk about a few spoilers. Specifically, want to touch back on the interesting way that Pace resolves some of the story flaws that were kind of telegraphed throughout the movie. For one, can somebody please explain to me how the hell Arthur was able to get all the way to the front gate of Wayne Manor to the point where he sticks his fingers in Bruce Wayne's mouth? Shouldn't there have been like 4 or 5 guards to stop him before that point? Second, with the clown makeup and being called the Joker and all the unrest going on already in Gotham, why would Murray Franklin still let Arthur on the show? This should have been cut from jump with the Mark Maron's character told him no. I didn't get that point. Luckily, Joaquin's performances in those 2 scenes are so staggering, they end up becoming 2 of the most memorable, and it makes up for the unbelievable story choices. And then third, that relationship with Zazie Beetz' character. At first, I thought it escalated too quickly and that her talents were being underutilized. So much so that about halfway through that plot line, I figured out, you know what, she's probably not really there. But then I started thinking, if she was in the movie a lot more and more people might catch on that Arthur's the only one she's interacting with. So I ultimately thought it was a good choice to have her only used sparingly. So when you get to the scene where he's in the apartment and she's like, aren't you the dude down the hall? It really hits a lot much harder. And I really appreciated how Todd Phillips left it up for interpretation whether or not Arthur ended up killing her and her daughter. You get the sirens, you get the yelling, but you never really figure out whether or not he did it. And that really goes into how the Joker operates. It's all chaos. He doesn't know what's going on, so you don't know what's going on, and that's what makes him really dangerous. And that leads to one of the most Jokerous Joker scenes I've ever experienced on film. Like, it's up there with Heath hitting the button in the hospital and looking back. It's probably one of the only humorous, darkly humorous, but humorous scenes in the apartment when he takes those scissors out and he kills old dude and the little person can't get out. If you caught that he latched the door, you're already thinking he's not gonna be able to reach. And then when he gets over there, you can't help but laugh, but you're anxious and you're like, yo, did Arthur do that on purpose? Or did he just forget? Is he really gonna kill him? Is he gonna let him go? Is he doing that to mess with his head? And then Arthur kisses him on the forehead and lets him go, and it's just, that's what Joker does. He just goes with it, and it's chaos. Oof. All right, spoilers done. You can come back now. Cue the transition. In the end, Joker is dark, hard to watch, and absolutely amazing. Proving yet again that comic book fatigue is not a thing. As long as you realize that these movies can be presented in so many different ways. With that, I'm giving Joker 9 out of 10. Ledger, Phoenix. Who's better? Let the debates begin. Alright family, that was my review for Joker. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below. If you've seen it, are you able to get through a second viewing? I haven't decided if I will be able to do that yet. Please like this video, give me some comments, share it with your friends, share it with all your peoples. The written review, as always, is in the link below. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.
You just